Depp and Heard court documents narrated. This is the partial witness statement of Johnny Depp regarding the infamous flight from Boston to Los Angeles. Second witness statement of John Christopher Depp II. I, John Christopher Depp II, address, will say as follows. 1. I am the claimant in these proceedings. 2. Unless stated otherwise, the facts and matters referred to in this witness statement are within my own knowledge and true, or are true to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief based on sources stated within this witness statement. 36. I remember the flight from Boston to Los Angeles in detail. I had drunk alcohol prior to and on the flight, but my behavior was not as alleged at all. As I explained by text message a few days later on May 27, 2014 to my sister, Christy Dombrowski, after Miss Heard had tried to suggest to Miss Dombrowski that I should see a doctor. Page 7 of Exhibit JD2. Quote, no reason for her to speak to anyone, let alone a doctor. I'm done. Her actions have added more drama than necessary. And when was I unhealthy exactly? When I was not sober for a day? I guess that's what people call falling off the wagon. It's happened to a lot of my friends. Their wives didn't stop calling them. End quote. 37. Miss Heard and I were seated at the central table in the cabin. I was drawing art sketches in my notebook, as I like to do when traveling, when Miss Heard began to harangue me. I cannot remember exactly what she was saying, but it was the usual abusive stuff. Miss Heard progressed into a continuous verbal barrage, with which I did not engage and instead continued sketching. Throughout the course of our relationship, Miss Heard would often look to argue with me, berate me, or abuse me verbally and physically. By the time at which the flight took place, I had worked out that the best way to deal with this was to simply not engage and try to retreat from the situation, as I have stated above. 38. Further, given where I was sitting and the layout of the plane, it was physically impossible for me to have kicked Miss Heard in the back, causing her to fall over. In fact, what happened is that when Miss Heard stood up at some stage during the flight, I stretched my leg out to tap her playfully on the bottom with my foot, to non-verbally communicate something along the lines of, hey, come on, let's get past this, in an attempt to make light of the argument and to try to diffuse the situation, but I do not believe I was able to reach her. Miss Heard saw my attempt, however, and immediately took great offense to this act and continued to verbally berate me and gesticulate at me. Eventually, Mr. Stephen Duders, my personal assistant, and Mr. Jerry Judge, my security guard, intervened to calm down Miss Heard. I believe that Mr. Judge took her to a separate part of the plane and talked to her for the rest of the flight, and I had a brief conversation with Mr. Duders. I then took a pillow to the bathroom, locked the door. Unfortunately, it looks like the rest of his witness statement was redacted and not included in the unsealed document, but I will look for any other information or documents pertaining to the flight and record and upload those as well. If you have a specific request for a document to be read, please leave it in a comment and I will happily try to accommodate it. Additionally, I started and run a local pet food bank which provides free pet food to owners struggling financially to afford necessities for their pets, such as going through a job loss or a sickness. If you liked the narration and would like to send a tip, links are below and 100% goes directly to dog, cat, and small animal food. The need is overwhelming as there's very few options for people who can't afford pet food. Even $1 goes a long way as we can generally get about 2 cans and that feeds a pet for a day. The goal is to help people get through temporary difficulties so they don't have to surrender to shelters. Thank you so much.